safety and order. If you could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Move next to roll call. Clerk Treasurer Aldrich.
Carol Traver, present. Bradshaw.
We'll move next to the minutes from the June 4th, 2018 meeting. Are there any additions, subtractions, deletions, or amendments to be made to this set of minutes? Should have been included in the email.
No, I move we accept the minutes from June 4.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You have a hard copy of the minutes from the June 14th, 2018 work session. Are there any additions, subtractions, deletions, or amendments to be made to this set of minutes?
No.
Is that a motion?
Yes. Make a motion.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have claims in the amount of $388,935.82. Any questions regarding the claims?
I got one. On page 6, you got Fielding Jewelry 3 times. And then the middle one of those, it says miscellaneous paint for the playground and the city park. I didn't know they sold paint in there, but I thought maybe that was
Where do you see Fielding?
up the next to the top one there, the third one down, 3rd, 4th, and
What page are you on?
5th. 6.
Okay, that's it. It's that same glitch we've had before where you'll put it in and as you go to a new one, it doesn't always catch it. So that's exactly what it is. That should have been Delphi Paint and Hardware. And so should have the second one, the one right about, or actually the first one to Fieldings there.
Yeah.
That's actually Delphi Hardware and Paint.
Sales tax credit. You mean those machines are not perfect?
They're fun sometimes. They haven't had that for a while though. They thought they had it fixed.
Any other questions about the claims?
That's it. I move we accept the claims.
Second.
A motion and a second to accept the claims as amended or will be amended. Do we have any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Treasurer Aldrich, you have 2 things you'd like.
Yeah, you actually, we are finishing up with Johnson, and because he wasn't completed, we did not put him on the docket. But if it is permissible with you, for the work that he is doing here on the air conditioning in the building here. So we would pay it when he is totally completed and we're satisfied. But that'll be before our next meeting, and then it will appear on your next docket.
What's the amount on that?
So, one of them, we've got $1,700, and that's to install that, what's your new air?
That's it.
Yeah. And then he's got $2,000 for the police department. So I need to confirm with him and make sure these were quotes he gave us, but I need to make sure we're not lapping over on these 2 prices.
I would make a motion that we submit a check upon completion and satisfaction by Harold Johnson.
Second.
Do we have any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Do you have
But that
any-
will show up on your next docket then. Even though we pay it, it will be presented on your next docket.
Do you have anything else for us?
No.
All right. Go ahead to oral reports. Chief Mullen, do you have anything you'd like to talk to us about?
Nothing really to add, Mayor. We did have some counterfeit bills come through our area here about a couple weeks ago. Apparently, some bills which have been have some Chinese markings on them. They look pretty much. They look rather authentic, except they are. They have this markings on the $100 bills that have Chinese markings on the red and white ink. Most of the businesses, in fact, all the businesses have been let know about what's going on, and I think that it's been pretty widely publicized. Let them know. They can watch for them. That's about it at this point.
Thanks, Chief. Any questions for the Chief? All right. Thanks, sir. Superintendent Van Sickle?
Yeah, I had Yarberry, the people that did the horse main project. They came today and knocked down a bunch of dead trees that had the opportunity to fall under the fence if they would have fell that way. I don't know if you've noticed out by the wastewater plant, all the trees have died. Anybody? Okay, well, trust me, there was a bunch of dead trees. When we had the outfall issue, water stayed in there, and there were mostly cottonwoods, but there were a bunch of dead trees, and they were pretty tall trees. I didn't want to take the chance of anything falling on the fence or the tanks, causing major damage, so had to knock down a bunch of trees today.
You have anything else for us?
Not really. I believe that my decking for Cottage Street is going to be coming tomorrow. I've been waiting patiently. I would have thought that was been done a couple months ago, but it didn't happen yet. So we've got the pumps, we've got the control panel, waiting on a deck to be built. It's going to be attached to the lift station, and then we'll have the rest of the work done.
Fantastic. Have any questions for the superintendent? Thanks, sir. Superintendent Myers?
Not much. Samuel Milroy water service connections is completed. We got them all switched over. I think the CCRs were mailed out and hand delivered last week. And submitted to IDM. Everything's good till next year for that.
Any questions for the superintendent? All right. Thank you, sir. Superintendent Lyons?
Two things I have is one, the security fence around the pump station has been installed, so that's done. Second of all, the contractor is in to pave Samuel Milroy and Hamilton Street. So the weather holds out, hopefully the end of the day tomorrow, those will be done, providing what the weather does tonight and tomorrow. But they are in town with the mill machine and did what they need to do, so hopefully tomorrow they're laying asphalt.
And levy inspection last week?
I did get a levy inspection. That was completed last week also. They said no major findings. There'll be a few of the things that we get written up for every year for the last 40 years, but nothing of great significance. He told me not to look for any surprises. So the last one took 9 months to send out, so I'm not quite sure how fast we'll get this one back. Nothing unexpected on it. We did okay.
Any questions for the superintendent? Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Clerk Treasurer Aldridge, anything? Nope. All right. Go to new business. First item, Superintendent Lyons, while we have you up, is proposal from Milestone for saw cutting excavation, removal of pavement at the intersection of Monroe and Pearl Streets, 44 feet by 34 feet to a depth of 14 inches, 8 inches of 53s, 4.5 inches of base, 1.5 of surface. And give a brief.
So basically what this is that road, somebody's taken the liberty to put a couple cones out there for us. I was gonna try to fix it, but the road has failed. That road is scheduled to be paved either in 2019 or 2020, I don't recall which. However, because the subgrade has failed, we need to do a patch anyway. So that road's really not gonna make winter, so the proposal is to go ahead and fix that now. Get it fixed, so it'll last through the winter. And then that road will be ready for an overlay in 2019 or 2020.
Any questions for the superintendent? Mr. Turner? I would move for the approval of the proposal with Milestone Contractors in the amount of $13,600, with the scope of work being the intersection of Monroe and Pearl Streets.
Second.
Motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. The next item of business is lighting agreements. Superintendent Lyons, all we have here. So there's quite a few that Duke sent us. The ones I want to focus on tonight are the ones that we need to get power to Freedom Bridge and to the Blue Bridge to go along with the security camera and trail security project. So the two that we're going to be looking at tonight, I think I sent 5 in the packet. Some of those, one was for City Park, one was for Riley Park parking lot, one was for Trailhead parking lot. That's something I want to discuss with Superintendent Lyons because he did put in some lights last year and a lot of those areas are pretty well lit. So the ones we're looking at right now, subject would be Freedom Bridge, and then the second one, subject would be Blue Bridge. You want to give a little bit more about these two, Aaron?
Well, what I know from my end of it is, those areas down there we're gonna get security lights. And they're also getting cameras, but those areas do not have power to them, so they're gonna have to run poles over there and spaces to be able to run the security cameras. So that's what those two items are at Freedom Bridge and Blue Bridge. So there'll be security lighting out there at those locations, as well as a drop to be able to supply power to the security cameras.
What kind of time frame are they looking at doing that if we approve this?
Who?
Is it Duke time or is it?
It's Duke time. The electrician's been in here for a while now doing what he can, and he's basically kind of waiting for some of this stuff.
But they have to set a pole at Blue Bridge, or Freedom Bridge on one side, I think the other side's got power.
Yes. Correct.
And then at the Blue Bridge, they have to run a pole back there.
Correct. And I don't have the plan set in front of me to, there's a diagram somewhere with those two, so.
I don't have it in this packet, I have it in one packet. But, so the proposal for Freedom Bridge lighting, 3 lights in the project, $8,647.64. And then for the Blue Bridge is 2 lights.
Freedom.
Is that what I said at the beginning? Freedom Bridge is $8,647.64. The Blue Bridge is $9,201.59. These funds will be coming out of the grant funds raised through either IHCDA or the Patronicity matching grant. So these would be city tax dollars.
So we don't have to figure out how to pay for it?
We have the money to pay for. We got $98,625, with approximately $35,000 going to the cameras, approximately $15,000 going to electrical, so we have approximately $50,000 left in there after the expenses. We have more than that in there, but I don't think we've got all Scott's bills yet.
You don't want to do them all, you just want to do those 2?
I'd like to do those 2 and then review the other proposals for Riley, City, Trailhead.
But they don't need to set poles out there, they've already got lights in those.
We already have lights at a lot of those locations. That's why I want to look at those. But these 2 I'd like to get going just so that we can try to get Skiles out as quickly as we can.
We need to get the rest of the kiosks set and power to them because momentum, we're losing momentum. So, okay.
Is there any question about the 2 estimates from Duke? Or agreements from Duke?
Do you need a motion for each one or both?
I think we can do one for both.
Okay, I move that we accept the Duke proposal for the Blue Bridge, which is $9,201 and some cents, and the Freedom Bridge, which is $8,647 at this time.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the 2 Duke proposals for a combined total of $17,849.23. Do we have any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'm going to skip the White House one. I was waiting on Chris Mullen. I thought he would be here. Mr. Bradshaw, do you want to give an update on water information meeting?
We have a meeting scheduled for the 27th, which would be a week from Wednesday. at the canal, 7 to 9 o'clock. So the same kind of format, we'll have the people from the engineering firm, we'll have people from the well drilling firm, and I think we say Humboldt, are they gonna?
I believe I'm all will be
We
there.
believe Humboldt will be there, the financial people. Obviously, Craig will be there with his best shirt and tie on, I'm
That's sure.
sure. To try to answer any questions that have arisen or things that we have been able to research since the last meeting. So hopefully, we'll be able to answer most questions that people have.
So that'll be June 27th, Wednesday, 7
June
p.m.
27th, a week from this coming Wednesday. Anybody got questions?
Oh, it's, we'll get to that here in a second.
Oh,
Clerk Treasurer, you have anything? Board comments, Mr. Trader? Ms. Bradshaw?
I'd like to thank both Aaron and Craig for their cooperation and work on the car show. We had a great car show. It was a tad warm, but it wasn't raining. And we had about 80 entries, plus a few that weren't entered, but everybody had a good time. Everybody won prizes. Most everybody sat under the trees. And we had a band that night. HHR played after they played down at, I think they were at Arby's, weren't they? Oh, I'm sorry. That's how old you are.
Say Hardy?
Everybody calls it city service. They're old, aren't they, Jeff? So I'd like to appreciate the fact that you guys were well cooperative. You know, one of the great things about doing projects in this town is that you get a lot of help and cooperation from the city and the city employees and all the departments. And that makes, you can't believe how nice that makes it to work on projects downtown. To know you're gonna get that, and you're not gonna get a ration of, so I appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Bradshaw. Public comment? Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to congratulate you on your first term and all that you've done for the city of Delphi.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. My wife and I are both college educated, and we work hard for a living, and I think we're the perfect demographic that what Delphi is looking for. We've lived here for 18 years. As you move forward with this water project, I'd like you to consider a few things. And these are rhetorical, and if you choose to answer, that's up to you. Some things I would like you to consider as you move forward. The first thing is that I see a conflict of interest with anybody who's on any other group of organization, who's on the city council or the board of works, who's in the Delphi Preservation Society, the Historical Society, who disperses or handles this money. I think that's a conflict of interest. Secondly, should the city pursue this water project, in my opinion, I think every well within the city that's private, be it on historical property as well, should be condemned by city ordinance, because everybody should have to pay their way. How you handle commercial wells is entirely up to the city council or the board of works. I think that's about it. Once again, I appreciate all the infrastructure things that you guys have done for the city, but to me, $13 million, it's the number people are spitballing that I hear, seems to be an awful lot of money. When you sit down and look at the demographics of Delphi, I come up with 2,200 people approximately, and maybe 1,200 well hookups. That seems like an awful big burden for people who are, I think the poverty in Delphi might be 15 to 17%. Am I wrong?
I think the low to moderate income is 51%. I don't know what the.
So we're asking a small percentage of people to carry the burden of this loan. And to me, I revert back to, your perfect demographic. Me and my wife, we're working hard to save for our retirement, pay our bills, keep a roof over our head, and gladly participate within the economic development of Delphi. But to me, it seems burdensome and even quite punitive. And as a Delphi resident, I hope things pan out to everyone's benefit. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Dolbeck.
You're welcome.
Public comment, yes, sir.
Mr. Bradshaw, remember back when Carol Wagner was mayor, IPC come to town? Well, when this tax abatement's over, look how much money the county will have. It seems like to me that money's got diverted to tip districts and other things. Why can't that money be used as part of the well? Why are we paying for the well when we got this great thing out there? I remember that Carol kept saying, when that thing's gone, look how much money left. Then it seems like the tip district come in and everything, sucked a lot of that money out. I think it should have paid for it. I don't think it should be borne on us.
I think that's reasonable.
But so far, your figures aren't showing that. And it'd be a lot easier to sell to people if you got the people to back this.
We don't know what that's gonna be, I mean, should we speak for them? We can't speak for them, we have to have a plan, and we go to them, and
But it
go
was-
to all of the
It
participants
was my,
and say,
it was my
what
fault.
can we do?
It was my fault, it was other people's fault when we stood there and watched it happen. We talked to the commissioners the day that thing happened, when they took out a fifth district out there. And one of the three commissioners, is that gonna put us to the point where we don't have enough money to do what we need to do?
Well, if the tip district wasn't there, we wouldn't be having this conversation because that money would be getting absorbed by the county, and the county sure as heck isn't gonna give us money for the water project.
We'd have to ask the county for it rather than the RDC or whatever.
Yeah, and which,
How much money does IPC, TIF district get from the IPC?
what was it, 3% of their assessed value each year minus whatever they have in abatements?
Oh, it's like 800 grand.
Look it up on Beacon.
Yeah.
I've been trying to find it, but I'm not smart
And
enough
then
to
there
figure it
are
out.
those abatements.
They don't have to pay it up front. They could just be a participant paying as it goes along the years.
That's,
We haven't ruled out contacting any of those folks, I mean, we
But
need to
then-
have a plan.
It doesn't
Right.
show up on any paperwork.
It doesn't.
So far.
We need a plan.
it's not a sure thing. But, I mean, you were at the last RDC meeting. I've been trying to go to the RDC meetings every month that I can for the last year and a half.
How much money does the RDC have in their pocketbook right now?
It's on Gateway, I'm sure. I don't know, that's a auditor treasurer question for the county.
I will get the papers up in the morning and see if we can find it.
Let's see.
We need a plan, Jeff, I mean, that's what we have to start with.
So when I go to do something, I have the financial plan started before I start the other. You start the other without a financial plan, is the way I feel.
No, you have a house plan or something, then you make a financial plan. I mean, you have to, what it's gonna cost, what are you gonna, how big is it gonna be? You know, what costs and things are you gonna incur before you can go to somebody and say, okay, here's what it's gonna cost, now how are we gonna do this?
Right.
Looks like their taxes for this year is $201,300. Somewhere around there. RDC probably didn't collect all that. That's what it shows in Beacon. I'm just,
But I know that we've dropped the ball. They're a great asset to the town. With all the people work out there, and people like me have to figure out and capitalize it because the people live here. Every year they hire more people, we just get a less percentage of them live here. And that's our fault. The people live here that have capitalized on it. Not the city's fault, it's our fault. I don't know how to do it. But every year you look, we have less percentage of people live here, work there. Every year they add people to roles, and that's a shame. We need their tax dollars. Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Watt. Any other public comment? Yes, sir.
Are you still looking at other options?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to throw one in the pot if I could. Something I've been researching for the last couple months that doesn't seem to get any attention or has been said to be too much. I disagree. So I'm going to leave this with you for your review. Salute it or throw it away or whatever, but I think it ought to be considered. That's all I have.
This is the floor solution, is that what?
Yes.
Well, Mr. Dale, how many years solution would this be? Is it 20-year solution, 25-year solution, I think?
It's a lot more permanent of a solution than digging it on U.S. aggregates land. It could be a permanent solution. But it needs to be researched, it needs to be looked into, and it needs to be, you know, discussed. And with my figures, it's less than, well, excuse me, the figures that I've been given, it's less than what we're talking about here at 13.5 million.
Does that include all the other projects or just the water from floor project?
Just the water coming from floor.
So that doesn't incorporate maintenance on 2 water towers, building a new tower,
Nope.
maintenance on a 3rd tower.
Nope,
So you've got roughly 9.4 million on the construction side of things.
yep.
It is less than 13 and a half, but
But the Arrow's
it
got
seems
4 million
more
worth of
expensive than aeration, ground storage tank, connected wells.
Some of that I don't think you would need with this.
Right, if you're comparing the 2 projects.
That is our area of growth, the south of Delphi. If you come back in 40, 50 years, if we grow, and I'm not sure we will with 13.5 million spent on this, but if we do grow, geographically, the south end of Delphi is where we will grow. And not so much at 421 in the heartland, in my opinion, it will grow at 800 north, or 800 west in the Hoosier heartland. My assessment.
The proposed people we brought in to look at different things, trying to get business here, that's what they tell us too. I was surprised. I would have thought it'd been 421. They said growth would be out of 800. I was quite surprised. I thought, the road's already out there. They said, no, the growth will be there. And business too. Surprising.
I guess not having time to review the numbers.
Well, I'm not asking for an answer, I'm just giving it to you to review, and hopefully that, it will be reviewed. I'm not looking at a gotcha moment to where I expect an answer or anything else. I'm just giving it to you as a product of my research.
Without diving into this completely, how many MGD does this proposal pump from Florida Delphi?
I believe it's 2 million gallon a day.
That's with a 12-inch pipe.
The numbers are with a 12-inch pipe. Actually, the 10-inch pipe is cheaper. But I went with a higher amount. It's all in there. The attachments and the figures are all in there.
I will review this
That's all I have.
Wednesday.
Mr. Mayor, if I may quickly,
Yes, sir.
and this is a rhetorical question, what culpability or liabilities does US Aggregate have if they ever hit the water table again? Where does that lie? And I'm not looking for an answer, that's just some things I want you guys to consider, okay?
What culpability do they have at this point?
Yeah, another thing too is, per city ordinance and how the city handles the water department money, should this loan go through, I would ask that the city maybe consider writing an ordinance that the money within the water department be contained within the water department, not for rainy day funds, not for any special things other than repaying, resurfacing that loan.
Right,
Because I think it's wrong as a taxpayer for that money through the water department that we pay our bills with to be diverted anywhere else throughout the city budget.
it's not. Well,
And I take your word for that, but I'd like to see it in writing through an ordinance.
I guess at times it is if.
I think
and
that's
only
fair for
if-
the taxpayers.
I guess if and only if, say we pay insurance out of the general budget, and within that bill, we incorporate water and wastewater insurance. Am I on the right track? Then we would
No, I understand
reimburse general from
That's the
water,
only thing,
wastewater.
there is nothing paid, nothing goes from the water department to the rainy day fund. There's no funds taken from the water department other than what applies to them. So they reimburse the city because the city pays for the health insurance package. So that's part of their employee cost benefits. Same thing as their perf. That is their employees. So those benefits cost the water department. They don't cost the taxpayer. The water department pays for those benefits out of their utility shares. Has nothing to do with your tax revenue.
Okay, thank you for the
But I
clarification.
understand what you're saying.
But as a taxpayer, I would like to see some kind
Sure.
of reassurance that this money is being handled properly.
If I had to guess, I'd say it's covered by state statute.
Yeah, I don't think I have any choice.
A few times over.
I think those auditors will be on.
And that's why I refer back to the conflict of interest between anybody who's on the Board of Works or the City Council who has access to this money. So just please consider that going forward. So that's all I have to say. Thank you. And thank you, Board of Works, for allowing me to speak.
Thanks for coming.
And you're quite welcome.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm a little confused. You've applied for 13 mil, 475,000.
Yes.
And the interest rate is going to be set July 1, reset July 1.
Sometime in July.
It-
Is that what he
the-
said?
The information said July 1.
Okay.
Yeah, I think on the application or something like that. And there's an ordinance hearing for rate increase, a rate ordinance in October is scheduled. I didn't actually review that.
I don't have the schedule in front of me.
Sometime in there. When are you guys gonna work in IPC? I mean, I'm surprised to hear you say, glad to hear you say, that you don't know what IPC is going to contribute, or if they are. When will that be coming? I mean, surely it'll be coming before the great public hearing for the ordinance.
Right.
Right.
Because their rates would be built into that public hearing as well.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, I mean, it's all utility customers, and the way our rates
so
are
it's
set
not,
up.
it's not, okay, it's no, they will do no more than pay a rate. There won't be any extra. I think maybe what some people think is that IPC should be helping more with the construction.
Absolutely, if they use 80% of our water,
That's what I'm interpreting from some readers and things that, people have called me. And so I think that's what came from Wally's question. I don't think, so what they will just be paying is a rate, just a rate. They won't be
I
paying
can't say
any-
that with certainty.
Okay,
Because I think they would have a minimum monthly bill no matter what their water usage is. Does that make any sense?
well, I understand all those words, and I even understand them all strung together.
to put it in a taxpayer Wally speak, is that the burden should be spread proportionately, and I'm not looking for fairly, but it should be spread proportionately.
Right. And that's what I'm always here for, is to make sure that it's spread proportionately.
And I think that's what they're saying, is that as I pay a rate and you pay a rate, IPC pays a rate.
Based on a percentage,
Well, it's
it's a
not,
different question.
it's based on the number of gallons that they use based on the rate ordinance. So for the first 500 cubic feet, what's the rate? 382? I don't know, I don't have the ordinance in front of me. But as you use more water, that rate decreases. So if you're over 7,500, I can't. You got it? No, that's.
So you're telling me as a taxpayer, if I use more water, I get a break?
Yes, you pay less for it. Yes.
Really?
And
It's
it's,
an electric bill and everything else.
and it's, I've looked at Camden, Attica, Flora, Brookston, Battleground. It's all structured the same. Now, they may not be the same ratios, but it's all structured the same. There was one municipality where their first 3,000 gallons was actually lower than their next 5,000, but that was the only anomaly that